Okay, question of the day is, how long does counseling take? If you're just starting counseling or considering going to counseling, you're probably wondering, gosh, how many sessions should I expect this to be? How much money really am I going to be investing here? 2, 5, 10 sessions a year? And the answer I give is, it depends. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's short term, then we'd be able to focus on temporary symptoms, rudimentary behavioral changes that you can implement in the short term. Or if what you're looking for is just a little bit of advice about a particular issue, again, that's something that can be given in the short term. All that kind of work is, of course, limited in its scope. That's why it's short term. But if you feel that, if you've kind of hit a bump in the road of your life and you need a little bit of a jump start to get you back on track, that may be sufficient. That may be helpful enough for you, especially if you're willing to do most of the work on your own outside of therapy. But if you are looking for significant life transformation, like your life has really been going sideways, and you want to really change your character or change the nature of your relationships, or develop your sense of purpose, or make sense of the things that have happened to you over the course of your story, that's not something that can be accomplished through short-term work. There is no shortcut to that kind of change, and watching the clock actually makes that kind of change less likely to occur, partly because therapy is really about a relationship. It's a place where the transformation really depends on the quality of the trust and the degree of understanding that develops between the client and the therapist. And it's really hard for genuine relationship to develop when, I guess I'd say when it's forced. There needs to be kind of room to breathe and room to relax into the process. So if you're hoping to change patterns that have been ingrained for many years, or heal from wounds that have had a long-term impact on your life, that's not something, if it's been in your life for 10, 15, 20 years, it's not likely to be fixed over the course of just a few weeks. And if you try to do that, you're setting yourself up for failure if you expect to be able to pound that out in just a few sessions. And if, I've seen this, that when people expect to be able to do big work that has a big scope in the short term, eventually they start to feel frustrated. They say kind of, yeah, I guess therapy's good, but it's also kind of frustrating because there's nothing monumental that seems to be happening. There's no sort of magical, miraculous moment of transformation. And then maybe you'll decrease the frequency of your sessions, hoping to save a little time and money. And then predictably, the therapy then feels even less like it's accomplishing anything significant. And so then before long, maybe you stop altogether. And down the road, you say to yourself, yeah, I tried therapy. It was fine. It didn't really dramatically change my life. So I guess it's good for some people, but not for me. Of course, there are times where there is a monumental moment of discovery. I might occasionally wow you with my brilliance. I'd like to think I say some pretty smart or insightful things at times. But really, therapy that's really transformative isn't about the therapist. It's not about me or another counselor having to be the most brilliant person in the world. It's about the work that you choose. It's about the self-discovery that you are open to experiencing in the process. That's why it's about the relationship. So for therapy to effectively focus on that deeper kind of life change, there needs to be a willingness to settle in for a little while and trust the process. One way of looking at it is this. If you're wanting to learn something cognitively, you might expect, I'm going to take a class. I'm going to take a university course. I'm going to probably have to read a book or several books. I'm going to go to class a few times a week. I'm going to spend a lot of time and do some homework as well outside of the class. You expect it to take time. You trust that as a process. Well, when you're looking to transform your life, that's not just about learning some information. It's about figuring out what it would take to bring you more fully alive on a heart level. You're not a computer where you can just change a few lines of code and expect major change to occur in your life. If it were that simple, you would have figured it out already. We all would have. Instead, the transformation that's possible in your life is it's more like a seed that has tremendous potential, possibly unlimited potential. But to see that potential come to fruition requires real care and focus and attention and investment. To plant seeds, you've got to put it in the ground, water the soil, and wait for new growth to emerge. And if you just wait for a day or two and say, oh, there's no growth happening, I'm going to dig it up again and plant it somewhere else, and then repeat the process over and over again, you're not going to see what the seed is capable of that way. But if you are patient and willing to invest and willing to do the work, beautiful, surprising things can really happen. I've seen it happen in my own life. I wouldn't be doing this work if I didn't believe in it, if I hadn't seen it be really powerful for me. So those are things I think it's good to consider as you're setting your expectations for how long therapy should take. What are you wanting to invest?